Learning Hilchos Lulav, beginning at Bez Hashem, Perek Zayin, Halacha Aleph. Kapos Tmorim. When the Torah tells us Kapos Tmorim, which has to do with date trees, the leaves of date trees, Hamuz B'Torah, which are mentioned in the Torah, Hein Charoya Shel Dekel. These are the branches of the date tree, palm tree. Now we'll go below. Hamuz B'Torah. We find in Vayikra, it says, "L'kachta lochem b'yom harishon pri eitz hoda kapos tmorim anaf eitz oros v'avi nochal." You shall take on the first day pri eitz hoda, the esrig, kapos tmorim, which is the lulav, anaf eitz oros, which is the myrtle, v'avi nochal, which is the arova. We have to take all four species. The Rambam explains first of all what they are. Kapos tmorim, before esrig even though esrig is first in the posuk, and he explains in Halacha Vov that you make a brocha on the tilas of lulav, and not it's for taking the lulav and not on taking the esrig or the hodus or the arova, since they are all found next to the lulav, and the lulav is the largest. Therefore, he calls these halachas hilchos lulav, and therefore he begins to explain what kapos tmorim is before pre eitz hoda. Kapos tmorim, he says, charoyos, these are the branches, shel dekel of a palm tree, kishiyitzmechu koidim sheyispardu ha'olin. When they come out tightly together before their leaves spread out, lekan to either side. That's the way it grows. First they're together, and then afterwards they spread out. Elo kisheyiyeh kamoy sharvit, and you take it off before it spreads out, when it is like a scepter. Nikra lulav. This is what's called a lulav. The Machon Nesher cites Sukkah 32a. Amalei Abai Lerova. Abai said to Rova. We have Ravina Lavarashi. But this is what the Machon Nesher writes. From what it says, kapos tmorim is a lulav. Eima charuso. Maybe it means a charusa. Rashi explains that means that it's already 2 or 3 years old, and it goes out to the sides, and it's like a piece of wood. So obviously it's being in kapos. It says the word kapos, and we don't have that because kapos means tied together, that they're tied to each other, not separated. Therefore, he says it should be like a scepter, which is one unit. The leaves of the date tree, after they've separated, are called charusa, but before that they're called lulav. Now we're learning Hilchos Lulav, Perek Zayin, Halacha Beis, Pri eitz hoda, Ha'ama b'Torah. The fruit of the beautiful tree, which is mentioned in the Torah, hu esrog. That's esrog. Let's go down to the Peirush. Pri eitz hoda, Ha'ama b'Torah, hu esrog. That's referring to the esrog. The Machon Nesher cites Sukkah 35a that Amavu learned hoda, meaning from the word hador, who lives, or resides, that it lives in the tree from year to year. Rashi in Sukkah 35 explains that esrog is different from all other fruits, that others grow in the tree and they fall off, and the esrog grows for 2 or 3 years in the tree. And when the new batch of buds come out, the old ones are still hanging in the tree. Vanaf eitz oros. It says the third species, which is the myrtle. It is the myrtle. She'olav choifim, that its leaves cover each row as eitz. So you don't see the wood because it's covered by the leaves. Keep going. And we're talking about here sheyiyeh shloisha olam or yoisa al kain begivul echon. Therefore, in each row, there has to be at least 3 in one row. If you only had 2, the third one was offset, it wasn't on the same row. It's not called ovis, but it's called a nikra hodesh shoita. It's called a hodesh shoita because it has 3 and it doesn't have it in the right place. The Machon Nesher cites Sukkah 32b And the Brisa in 32b learns that Toner Rabbanon Anafetz Ovois, that they cover the wood. And Rashi explains that it is all a branch, that the wood is entirely covered with its leaves, as if they were bound together.
One word.
The Hemshech of the Gemara continues that maybe it means an olive tree that has long leaves. They cover the wood. The Gemara says it's not like a chain that they cover each leaf of the other. The Gemara says maybe it means eitz armoin. And they said there it doesn't cover all the wood. So maybe it means hirdoif. It's made like a braid. The Gemara says that it has in it thorns. The Torah says we find regarding the Torah, its ways are ways of grace, and therefore thorns cut your hands. At the end, they decide it's the hodas, and they have to cover the entire wood. It's called oves because 3 olim go out from each section on that same height. Rae Gann cites the name of Moshe ben Yosef, who brings down that next to oves that these are 3 leaves in one row. And the posuk halaro kapayim lahetiv asar shoyer v'ashover b'shilon v'hagodol doiver hu havas nafshoy hu v'yav suah. Rashi brings the Talmud Yerushalmi. That what does it mean? Hashar shoyel, the Shah asks for shoychad. We learned this recently in Daf Yomi. V'ashoyvet oimer teshal nigmuli. Shoyvet says, give me my payment. V'eske oischa b'din acher, and I will make you innocent in a different setting of court. V'hagodol, means the king or the ruler, says that give me what I need if you have a suah, and they make it like a triple rope of sin between all 3. Moshe Rav Yosef Masbir explains if you have a suah, it means that it's a threesome, that the Sar, the Shofet, and the Godel are all together in on the taking the money. Shloisha olim yesal kain. Rambam writes 3 or more. Machon Nesher cites Sukkah 33a. We're talking about Aso. This is the Hodas, which is from Egypt, that it has 7 on each row. Rashi explains that it's called mitzvahs since it grows on the Meitza Asod, on the edge of the field, the borders, and since it has a place there that's empty, it grows and it's very luxurious. And he brings another language that it means Hodas Mitzri. It comes from Egypt. Hada Shoita. Why is it called a Shoita? Because it's not kosher. It's like an idiot. He doesn't have logic. And like we find in Bava Basra, somebody who is a firstborn to the mother but not to the father is called B'chor Shoita. He's not Chas v'Sholom an idiot, but he's not a correct firstborn to get 2 portions of the inheritance of his father. Rabbeinu adds, why is he called a shoiter? That he cannot take mitzvah, and we only use him as he's not worthy of being used for the mitzvah. You only grow it to make something to hit someone, like a malochim. And Yisrael wanted from Rechavam to make less of the yoke. They said to him, Ovi, and he answered them, my father tormented you with sticks, and I will torment you with scorpions. And so we find Shoivtim, Machon Nesher HaGodol, the staff which was in his hand, and Yonison explains that a staff is called Shutuse. So Meir Shoita means a staff. The Rae Gann disagrees. He says that it has to be 3 around it in each section throughout for 3 tvochim. If Mena came also, if not, that's not the case. It's not valid to be used. The Maggid Mishnah says the whole thing. It's not enough. The majority that if the three tefachim are not in that order of three on each row, it's not a hodis, it's not a myrtle twig, but it's something else. The Gezer Mishnah brings the Torah in 646, the name of Goinim, that every three tvachim should be, the entire three tvachim should be ovos. If not, it's possible. The Ito is of the opinion, if there's only one place where you have together, it's kosher, and so writes the Rambam. That's what the Ito writes. The Gezer Mishnah argues, that's not what the Rambam is saying. Rav Yosef adds, what it says, the Divrei Rambam are not able to be comprehended, whether he means the entire or he doesn't mean the entire, and he's referring to Perek Ches Halacha Hey, that if the majority of the leaves fell off, whether it's kosher or not. According to the Ravid, he requires either the entire branch or the majority. The Torah explains in the name of the Rosh that to begin with, you need all of it to be a threesome throughout. The Gra, the Migdal Ois, they explain the Gemara that's referring to where some of the leaves fell off, and therefore that's the source of the disagreement of the Ravid and the Maggid Mishnah. Shulchan Aruch in 646 says, codifies the halacha that you should need that to begin with. One should have the entire hodus. That should be a threesome throughout. And however, at the very minimum, it should be the majority. So Peirush HaMeir adds, since a hodus, which is not covered, is not a type of hodus, it should be possible on Yom Tov Sheni as well. The Emek Brocha says that this is a disagreement of the Rishonim, of the early commentaries. If ovos is a condition of its being kosher, or it's not considered a myrtle twig. According to the Ravid, it's not a type of myrtle twig and it's posel. According to the Ito, it's just a condition. Therefore, it could be that if it only has one place that has a threesome, it is kosher.